In today's tutorial, we're going to look at the fundamentals of the forehand and the backhand volley. The first thing we're going to look at is chopper grip. And the chopper grip is a fixed grip that we're going to use for our forehand and backhand volleys. To get into the chopper grip, you need to hold your racket in your non-dominant hand. And you need to get your dominant hand into a V shape. And need to place your hand on the handle, on the racket frame like this. You need to slide your hand down onto the handle, and then you're in this fixed position here. The next thing we need to look at is being in a really good athletic position for the volley. And to do that, you need to get your feet the same width as your shoulders are apart at least. You need to sit down on your hips like this, and your racket head needs to be up above your handle in this position just here. And this is a really good athletic position for the volley. Now we're in that good athletic position, what we need to be looking at now is how we prepare for the volley. So we're in our ready position, we're in our good athletic position here, we're sat down in the hips. Now to be able to prepare for the volley, we need to have a really good first step and unit turn. So the first step is the step you make out to either the right, for like this, or it's out to the left. And that first step comes with a unit turn, which is with your shoulders as well. So you step out and you turn your shoulders. That's the first step and unit turn. We do the same on the forehand and we do the same on the backhand. That gets us ready to turn, to go and move to the ball. The next thing we need to look at is how much we prepare on the forehand and backhand volley. And what we need to make sure is after we go to our unit turn with our first step, that we don't bring the racket back too far and we don't swing the racket through the volley. It needs to be a lot more compact than that. It needs to be, as we step out with our first step on our unit turn, the racket needs to stay out in front of us, and then we need to go forwards with the volley. So it's a very compact movement, and it's the same on the backhand side as well. So you've got that first step and unit turn, the racket stays out in front of you, and then you go forwards. And that's really, really important, especially when the ball's coming in really fast. You need to make it nice and compact. Also, what's really important when we volley is that we keep this nice shape in between our upper arm here and our forearm and the racket. And if we can keep this position here like this, we have great stability. We don't want the racket head dropping below the wrist because then we can lose stability and control and strength on the volleys. So we always want to keep it high up like this. The next thing we need to look at is contact point. Now the ideal contact point for a volley is shoulder height and just in front here like this, on the forehand and on the backhand side. And that's really important. It enables you to have stability and control on the volley. The next thing we're going to look at are 3 different types of footwork patterns that you need to use on your forehand and backhand volleys, depending on the speed of the incoming ball and depending on whether you need to generate a lot of pace on the ball as well. So the first type of footwork pattern we're going to look at is a closed stance. Now this is a type of footwork pattern that you need to use when you have lots of time on the ball and maybe when you want to generate a little bit more momentum and pace on your ball as well. So that comes from this position here. So we're in our ready position. We're in our good athletic position that we've gone through so far. We've made our first step and unit turn like this. And now from this position here, when we go and play our volley with our compact volley, which we've worked on so far, we need to close off with our opposite foot and bring it across us like this here. And that's the same on the backhand side. The next 2 types of footwork patterns we're going to be looking at are when the ball comes in a lot faster and you don't need to generate as much pace on the ball. Now we're going to be looking at open stance volleys and semi-open stance volleys. And these positions here are where you still make your first step and unit turn, but this time you don't close off like this so much on the volley. You actually step out with the unit turn here on the forehand volley, let's say, and this time you're going to go somewhere between closed and open. So this would be open, okay? This would be semi-open, and this is closed. And we're going to, like I say, we don't have enough time. The ball's coming in really fast. We still do our unit turn and our preparation here. It's still compact, but now we just come into a semi-open stance forehand like this. And that's the same on the backhand side. We do our unit turn, our first step, and semi-open stance backhand. And that's what we do there when the ball comes in really fast and we don't need to generate a lot of pace on the ball. It's the same when the ball comes in maybe super fast and we absolutely have no time to react. You know, maybe we're at the net and there's another player on the other side of the net, we're playing doubles and the ball's coming in really fast like this here. And we need to be able to just at least still get enough unit turn on the ball like this here. But now we're just going to be stepping forwards like this straight away. So we go there and then we go So literally our body is open to the net. And, you know, that's what we're going to try and do on really fast balls that come in to give ourselves the best possible opportunity on the forehand and backhand volleys. So just recap on the 3 different types of footwork patterns we've worked on there. The first one was a close stance forehand and backhand volley, where we want to generate a little bit more momentum going forwards because the ball's coming in slower, we have more time, we want to generate a little bit more pace. And then the following 2 types of footworks we worked on there was semi-open stance forehand and backhand volleys, where we go halfway between our close stance there and we go halfway between our close stance there. Ball's coming in really fast, we don't have a lot of time, and we're just using the pace on the ball that comes in. And then finally, the open stance volley, where maybe we have the least amount of time possible on the volley, where we're still doing our unit turn, but now we're just going forwards like this here, and we're going forwards like this here. Now we've looked at the fundamentals on the forehand and backhand volley and linked in some footwork patterns to support that. Now it's really important to work on movement. You're going to move forwards and you're going to go into a split step, and then you're going to step across like this for the close stance. And we can do it on this side as well. You move forwards, you go into, I can't do it, it's raining. Well, the plan was to work on movement today, but like I said in my last video, the weather here in the UK has been absolutely horrendous over the last couple of weeks. And this morning I had about an hour's window to get out on court and put some content together. So there I am between 8 AM and 9 AM this morning. It was relatively dry up until about 8:45. And then just as I started to go into my movement part of the session and then hopefully go on and focus on singles and doubles tactics in terms of court positioning, the heavens opened at 10 to 9. So I had to run for shelter and call it a day. But I'm planning on getting it back out on court at some point to do some more work on the volley, and I'd like to cover the movement up to the volley along with the singles and doubles tactics there. So stay tuned for another tutorial coming your way for that, and speak to you soon. Take care. Cheers. Bye.